Good afternoon, Mitty Bear Nation. Ed Estrada, Ed Diller, and a little bit later, Jason Lichtenstein will be joining us, bringing you all the action of Mitty Football 2025. The Mitty Bears coming off a loss last week to Powerhouse Arai.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, all Wall of Fame inductees, please report to the 15-yard line. Once again,
they'll try to report. We'll try to get Rye. They'll try to rebound off of that Rye loss last week against the Warwick Wildcats as they come back into the county here. Watching up down on the field, we'll be handing it off shortly to our public address announcer, Jeff Shuko. It is Wall of Fame Day here at Middletown. Earlier this morning, I had the honor to MC our 2025 Wall of Fame ceremony at Middletown High School. Wayne Beam, a 1980 graduate, honored as both an athlete in basketball, track and field, and cross country, as well as a coach here for track and cross country at Middletown. Mr. Tom Clark, a 1950 graduate who coached the boys soccer team to a school record 256 wins from 1965 to 1985. Steve Garland, a 1995 graduate, was honored for his remarkable coaching wrestling career here at Middletown, and he's currently the University of Virginia wrestling coach. Sharon Russell Parr, a 1986 graduate, universally recognized as the best female swimmer in school history. She still holds several records 40 years later here in Middletown. Kendrick Ray, a 2012 graduate who excelled in basketball here at Middletown High School as well as Division I Kennesaw State and has played professionally overseas. Kendrick couldn't make it out this afternoon as he's playing a preseason game out at the Greek Basketball League, but he was well represented by his family. Doug Spellman, a 1995 graduate, honored for his spectacular careers in both soccer and wrestling. Diane Wanzer, honored for her lasting coaching imprint in soccer, tennis, basketball, and cheerleading from 1973 to 2019. Really one of the pioneers in women's sports here at Middletown. And also honoring the 2011 4x400-meter boys relay team of Adam Abdur-Rahman, Darren Brown, Webb Pierre, Shakoy Burton, Manny Mosley, and Mel Mosley. They were 2011 national champions in the 4x400. So a little bit later, Jeff will be talking about our Wall of Fame inductees as they will be part of our pregame coin toss ceremony. And then after that, we'll get started with Warwick against Middletown. In the meantime, we're going to head it on off to our player introductions video.
You know how to get there, bud? Going up?
D-line. Israel Lifer, wide receiver, outside linebacker.
Justin Stewart, wide receiver, C.
Anthony Russo, quarterback. Aiden Barbosa, wide receiver, DB. Isaiah Sepulveda, running back and linebacker.
Ian Aristine, wide receiver, defensive back.
Ryan Guevara, wide receiver, safety.
Mario Giorgio, O-line, D-line.
Raheem Tinsley, receiver, DB.
Giovanni Pierre, defensive end, tight end.
Colin Farrell, running back, safety.
Vincent Russo, quarterback, safety.
Caleb McZorn, tight end, DN.
Owen Brinson, running back, defensive back.
Samuel O'Deary, wide receiver, DB.
Jake Mendez, wide receiver, cornerback.
Terrell Washington, outside linebacker, running back.
Davey Smith, running back, DB.
Isaiah Judge, inside linebacker, tight end.
Alex Lino, D-line, running back.
Emmanuel Rivera-Marino, receiver and DB.
Ethan Roberts, defensive back. Jordan Nelson, running back. Kendra Jangavan, running back and linebacker.
Thomas Pugh, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, receiver.
Josiah Pavone, running back, middle linebacker. Marquise Burgos, running back, middle linebacker.
Jaden Vasquez, wide receiver, DB.
Tayshawn Pelham, fullback, middle linebacker.
Brett Page, O-line, D-line.
John Cannon, O-line, D-line.
Tristan Williams, O-line, D-line.
Isaiah Lawrence, O-line, D-line.
Dyson Clean, guard, D-line.
Brian Hagan, O-line, D-line.
Seth Montchalí, O-line, D-line.
Joseph Arzu, O-line, D-line.
Miguel Godinez, center and nose.
Tyler Glover, wide receiver, linebacker.
Andre Mirage, receiver, linebacker.
Jagasar, O-line, D-line. Jojo Royal, receiver, safety.
Liam Chester, D-line.
Jake Kunis, wide receivers, cornerbacks, and special teams. Mike Conklin, O-line, D-line coach.
Bobby Mangano, offensive coordinator.
Chris Conklin, defensive coordinator.
Kim Strenfeld, head coach.
Let's go Middletown!
Back here at Fowler Field on the campus of Middletown High School, Ed Estrada with our producer Ed Diller. A little bit later on, we'll be joined by Jason Lichtenstein, who will provide some color to our ball game between Middletown and Warwick. As I mentioned earlier, the Midi Bears come in with a record of 0-1, having dropped their opener to Rye, and really a Rye football team that's going to be defending for a state title in its classification. And they're going to be taking on the Wildcats of Warwick. Warwick last week, a winner over Wagner out of Staten Island by a score of 29-14. So the Wildcats come in with a record of 1-0. They're led by quarterback Danny Lupkovich, the junior quarterback, who really a couple of weeks ago, from what I heard, was just the team's wide receiver. So somehow he found himself throwing the football last week and did quite well, throwing for 4 touchdowns in that 29-14 win for the Wildcats. He threw touchdown passes through 3 different receivers, Sean Perez, Quentin Lisiaga, who caught 2 of them, and Jackson Maselli. And they're also led on the ground by number 44, Giacomo Abadi, who had 17 carries and 77 yards for
As you know,
the
ladies and gentlemen, today was
And now our public address announcer, Mr.
very
Jeff
meaningful morning here at Middletown High School. We had our Wall of Fame induction ceremony. So let's give a big round of applause for our participants in the coin toss. The newest Middletown High School Wall of Famers, fresh off being inducted into the class of 2025 this morning. Clark, a 1950 graduate, coached the boys soccer team to a school record 256 wins from 1965 to 1985. Steve Garland, a 1995 graduate, was honored for his remarkable wrestling career. Sharon Russell Parr, a 1986 graduate, is universally recognized as the best female swimmer in school history. Kendrick Ray, a 2012 graduate, excelled in basketball at MHS, Kennesaw State, and as a professional overseas for 9 years. With Kendrick prepping for his season in Greece, wife Joanna and family and friends are on hand for the celebration. Doug Spellman, a 1995 graduate, is honored, having forged spectacular careers in both soccer and wrestling. Diane Wanzer is honored for her lasting coaching imprint in soccer, tennis, basketball, and cheerleading from 1973 to 2019. And honored in the team category is the 2011 4x400 meter boys relay team of Adam Abdur-Rahman, Darren Brown, Webb Pierre, Shakoy Burton, Manny Mosley, and Mel Mosley. Please stand up and give a warm round of applause to the Middletown High School Class of 2025 Wall of Fame inductees. Thank you very much for your contribution to our athletic department. We wish you nothing but the best in all your future endeavors. Wildcat offense against the Midi defense. Our colors for today's game are presented by the Middletown High School NJROTC chapter. Our color guard will be presenting the colors momentarily. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise, remove your hats, and face the flag as we honor America and our soldiers stationed at home and abroad with the playing of our national anthem.
So there you have it, our national anthem here at
Thank you very much,
Field.
ladies and gentlemen.
Middletown and Warwick making do in week 1, technically. Both of these teams played in week 0. Once again, Middletown lost to Ryan. Warwick with a win against Wagner out of Staten Island. Ed Estrada, along with our producer, Ed Diller. And our color analyst has arrived, Mr. Jason Lichtenstein. How are you, sir?
How are we doing? We're just giving a tour to some of our new Hall of Fame members.
Awesome ceremony this morning. You had a couple of wrestlers on there as well.
Yeah, it's great seeing those guys back, getting a chance to show them how the school's been upgraded, all the new things we got going on, and how just appreciative they are for their time they spent here with us.
So, Jason, we were talking that Warwick actually won the toss, and that, Warwick historically over this last few years has been known as the offensive team, but not so much on defense. And so not that surprising that they win the toss and elect to get the football first on offense.
No, and they have a new transfer that came down from Monticello that is just tearing it up as a wide receiver this year. And I'm sure they're going to take advantage of him early on in the game.
We talked earlier that they defeated Wagner out of Staten Island 29-14, and their junior quarterback, Danny Lubkovich, was not expected to be the quarterback. He was a wide receiver a couple of weeks ago, but he transitioned rather nicely, throwing for 180 yards and 4 passing touchdowns last week in their win over Wagner. So we're ready to kick off here. A beautiful day for football at Fowler as Middletown gets ready to kick the football. Number 34 for the Midi Bears with the kickoff. Miguel Segovia Jr. tripped up nicely that time on the special teams. Justin Stewart for Middletown making the stop. And unlike last week when we had that Rye football team starting in pretty good field position, Middletown does a nice job on special teams and limits Warwick to an opening drive that starts at their own 33.
And that Rye team ended up knocking off Somers last night.
Ah, there we go. We talked about
49-game win streak.
Wow.
By Somers there.
What was this? Do you remember what the score was?
14-7.
Okay.
Great
it was,
game.
yeah.
Doesn't hurt so much now, does it?
Yes. So Lubkovich is the quarterback from the shotgun for Warwick. Abate on the handoff right up the middle, gets out to about the 39-yard line. It'll be a good gainer of about 6 yards on the play. Second and 4 for Warwick from their own 39-yard line. We'll see if that Middletown defense could really entrench themselves. They were on their heels for most of the game last week, looking to get off at a good start, and dual receivers on either side. Lubkovich, and there's going to be a flag, a little motion on Warwick's side, and so they'll give back those 5 yards they just took. So going to bring up 2nd and 9 as the ball's placed on the 34. Abate is the running back to the right of Lubkovich. In motion now for Warwick is Quentin Lisiaga, who had 2 touchdowns last week. A nice pass on the inside. There's a flag coming in. Might be a hold against Warwick here. And if it is,
you don't see a lot of cut blocks in the backfield in high school football.
Sean Perez on the catch initially for Warwick. We'll see what the flag is.
Illegal block below the waist, number 44 on the offense. That's 10 yards from the previous spot. 2nd down.
Good call by Coach.
That was the hardest adjustment in college, was getting used to running backs that could cut you once you got past that O-line.
And after that initial 6-yard gain on the ground by Warwick, they've had 2 penalties now that have cost them 15 yards. Brings the ball back all the way to the 24-yard line. They need to get to the 43 for a first down.
I don't think they walked that distance off properly.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like 15 yards.
Now is the block below 15 or 10 yards?
Correction, the illegal block below the waist has been declined. It's going to be 3rd down.
Oh, so interesting from Coach Strenfeld. He declines the penalty and takes the down. And they're going to mark the football at the 30-yard line. So it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 13 for Warwick. Lubkovich on the far side's got a receiver. Cuts back inside, almost fumbles the football, but gets it right back. And it's going to be enough for a first down. Needed 13, got 14.
I'll say that was a courageous call there on 3rd and long to go for a screen in the backfield.
I believe that was number 3, Sean Perez on the catch. 14 yards and a Warwick first down. On their own 44. Handoff, Abate right up the middle. into Middletown territory, and another first down, and the Midi Bears back on their heels on defense on this opening possession. Takes the ball from the Warwick 44 to the Middletown 43. A 13-yard pickup for Abate.
Got a nice little defensive line switch here. The bigger D-line coming in, trying to stop that run up the middle. Got Seth Moncherie coming in and Liam Chester coming in.
1st and 10, Warwick at the Middletown 43, just getting started here at Fowler. Lubkovic, Abate again up the middle, sheds a couple of tackles at the point of contact, and another good gainer on first down for Warwick's Abate, as he takes the football from the 43-yard line down to the Middletown 36, a pickup of 7. 26 early yards here for Abate of Warwick. Coach Strenfeld deciding not to take the penalty on second down, and Warwick so far has made Middletown pay. Second and 4. Abate once again up the middle. Nice job that time. I think that might be Moncherie, and it is, on the stop. Picked up a yard on the play. 3rd and 2 for Warwick at Middletown's 35-yard line. Crowd just getting settled in here at Fowler.
See if they fake that screen this time. They've run it a few times. Oh, right back to
on the near side and picking it up right away, shedding a tackle though. Still fumbles the football this time, and Warwick, I think Abate falls on it, and Warwick will retain it. It's going to bring up 4th down, but they lose 8 yards on the play, all the way back to the original line of scrimmage, and actually 9 yards on the play. So they're 3rd down now, or 4th down and 9. I think they got the wrong yardage marker up there. Am I right? The down marker is incorrect. I think it's 4th down, though it says 3rd down.
Our board has it at 4th and 11.
Yeah, the board has 4th down.
Yeah, scoreboard's at 4th. The down marker on the 4th on the one side is incorrect, and the officials now are calling their own self timeout to kind of fix this. So Middletown's number 7, Andy Aristine, kind of blew up that last Warwick play.
Well, on 3rd down, the last 3 third downs, they've run the same play. It's nice that Andy, recognized that, made that jump. Looks like that down and distance marker might actually be broken.
The Warwick receiver on that play, Lisiaga, actually did a nice job shedding the original tackle by Aristine, but then the rest of the Middletown defense was able to recover and make the stop.
Coach Conklin's always been big on the tackle and swarm drills, so it showed right there.
And it does look like the down marker on the far side of the field, as the Middletown support staff is bringing over a new down marker. So it is 4th down and 11 from the Middletown 44-yard line for Warwick. So likely to be a play downfield. He's got 3 trips receivers on the far side. The Warwick quarterback is junior Danny Lubkovic. He works from the shotgun. To his right is their running back, number 44, Giacomo Abate. Abate last week had 17 carries for 77 yards against Wagner. Rolling to his right is Lubkovic, looking downfield. He had trips receivers on that side. There's a flag on the play and a nice tackle out of bounds by Middletown's number 20. Andrew Smith on the tackle. Warwick will turn it over on downs. There'll be a flag on the play that Middletown will likely decline if it's a hold. And that's what it is. It'll be a hold. So Middletown holds, unlike last week's.
Yeah. You're going to give up some yards in high school football, but if you can bear down when it matters the most, a few opportune penalties there, and they were able to take advantage of it. And, now we'll see what the offense can do.
So the good thing for especially the Middletown offense, over the years, Warwick stand out on offense as a team. But defensively, they've struggled, the Wildcats, over the years.
we've been able to take advantage of in the past couple of years. We'll see what we got here. We've had some big playmakers. You saw signs of it last week with R.J. Tinsley coming up there, and now it looks like, we're going to see more of him this week.
Off the shotgun, the inside handoff. Aristine on the near side at the 40, cuts it back up to the 45 before he's finally stopped on the play by Warwick's number 61, Aiden Galetta.
It looks like Warwick saw what a week RJ had last week, because as he went in that motion, all eyes were on him, which opened it back up for Andy.
5 yards on the pickup for Aristine. 2nd and 5 for the Midi Bears. They're led by senior quarterback Anthony Russo, number 4 from the shotgun. Aristine in motion. Russo's going to keep it go right up the middle, and he's got a first down for Middletown in Warwick territory at the 49-yard line. A pickup of 6 for Russo and a Middletown first down.
Saw signs of that last weekend with him starting to take over that game late in it with his running ability, and it's good to see the coaching staff has that confidence in him early this week.
Isaiah Sepulveda is to the right-hand side, now stations himself to the left in the backfield from Russo, who's working from the shotgun. That's Tinsley in motion. And the pitch to Tinsley, trying to get around the corner, cuts it back inside, picks up about 3 on the play to the 46. Actually give him 2. Second and 8 for Middletown. From the Warwick 47 here, coming up on 6 minutes left here in the opening quarter. No score between Warwick and Middletown. Sepulveda back to the left side of quarterback Russo. Tinsley again in motion. Back to passes Russo. Looking downfield, cuts it, brought the ball back down. Actually had Aristine at the last minute there, but just couldn't get it to him. Little indecisiveness by Russo on that particular play.
Got great protection right now early in the game with our offensive line, holding that defensive line in check. Probably could have tucked it and ran there.
And what's funny is that last week, that wasn't the case. There was a lot of pressure on him, and you start to think that way until you start to feel comfortable in the pocket. It'll take a couple of plays for Russo to feel comfortable back there. But 3rd and 8 for Middletown from the Warwick 47-yard line. 2 men in motion for Middletown. I think Warwick did come across the line, but I'm not sure if anybody was set, which would mean it'd go against the defense, but we'll see what the call is. Yeah.
Not sure I necessarily agree with that, because you can still shift your players.
That's why I thought for a second they might call it against the defense, but they'll mark 5 off of Middletown. So the ball's back in the Midi territory at their own 48-yard line on 3rd down. And about 12, they need to get to the Warwick 39 to extend the drive. But if you can get a good chunk of change, probably 2 down territory.
With how our offense looked last week, they're going to take advantage of everything they can. And, get a stop here. It's still a long field for Warwick to go. This is definitely 4 downs.
Tinsley looks a little confused, and now we're going to get a timeout, I think, by Coach Strenfil. So 2 plays in a row, a little confusion by some of the Middletown players in motion. And rather than take another penalty and make this a lot more difficult, Coach Strenfil calls a timeout. So Ed Estrada and Jason Lichtenstein bring you all of the action here. Middletown against Warwick. Our producer, Mr. Ed Diller. The Midi Bears trying to get their first win of the year after a loss to Rye last week. Warwick trying to go 2-0 on the year. Now, these 2 teams faced last year, and it was a rough start for Middletown at Warwick as they attacked that secondary of Middletown to come away with a 35-6 win.
That was where we saw the beginning of Warwick's explosive offense. I don't think
and they went undefeated for a few weeks, and then finally their lack of defense caught up with them towards the end of the year.
Yeah, and they got into the tougher part of their schedule, and teams were able to ground and pound on them a little bit more. We thought we had the team going into that game, and then we had a couple injuries leading into that last year, and just was unfortunate, how the game went down. But true to Coach Strenfil, our team rebounded real well, and we went on to have a very good season last year.
Beautiful day here, temperature in the 70s at Middletown, a slight breeze going from the bottom of your screen to the top. as Russo, the Middletown quarterback, works from the shotgun at 3rd and 12. Looking downfield over the middle, has Tinsley, but just slightly overthrew him, and that'll bring up a 4th down.
Looks like we're punting this one away.
So Tinsley, considering that he had 3 Warwick Wildcats in that secondary, did find a little bit of a pocket there.
Looked like that was a pretty good ball there. Russo found him and found the open field, but high school football.
So the Mitty Bears are forced to punt after a couple of first downs and a penalty that kind of stymied this particular drive. The ball's at the Middletown 48-yard line. The kickoff almost blocked by Warwick. Coming down with it, and a nice tackle in the special teams by Alex Smith of Middletown. So no gain on the return after the punt by Aiden Barbosa. My apologies, Graziano DiGiorgio. Dad's going to get upset with me. He's sitting right in front of us.
We'll see what defense we come back out here. When they went to that 4-man front last drive, our defense looked a lot better. With the offensive line of Warwick, all their pulls and traps, and it was hard with the 3-man front to defend that. But looks like we're back in the 3 here.
1st and 10 from the Warwick 15 for the Wildcats. It looked like 2 people in motion there at the same time. Lubkovich rolls out to his right, tries to loop it over. Dangerous pass down the far sideline. Middletown almost came down with an interception, but the ball was out of bounds. But I thought I saw 2.
I would have thought the right side of that offensive line jumped a little early there.
Yeah. But the pass falls incomplete for Lubkovich, his first incompletion after hitting on a 14-yard strike on Warwick's opening drive. 2nd and 10 for the Wildcats from their own 15. Crowd now starting to fill in here. Late arriving crowd at Fowler. Handoff up the middle. Finding some running room is Abate all the way out past the 25-yard line, and it's going to be a 1st down carry for Abate, who's done a nice job here. His 5th carry gets the ball out to the 26 after the 11-yard gain. Mentioned that Abate had 17 carries last week, and here in the opening quarter, he's already got 5. First and 10 from their own 26 for Lubkovich. Handoff on the inside, and a nice job by that Middletown front, making them change sides, but they can't come down with the tackle. Quentin Lisiaga got the handoff. Middletown had him for a loss in the backfield, but he did a nice job shedding those would-be tacklers, getting out to the far sideline for a pickup of 6.
We got Seth and Liam coming back in the game now. Looks like we'll probably go back to that 4-man front. See if we can get some, stop this run here.
2nd and 4, Abate off the handoff right up the middle. Nice job by Moncherie. After a pickup of about 2 yards on the play for Abate. 3rd and 1 for Warwick from their own 29-yard line, 30-yard line. They marked the football.
Looks like we got a Warwick player down.
Looks to be number either 58 or 68 for Warwick. So the early going here at Fowler, 4:07 remaining in the opening quarter. No score between Middletown and Warwick. Each team has had 1 offensive possession. Warwick in the middle of their 2nd. It's number 58 for Warwick coming off. Tommy Ronan, the senior offensive lineman. Looks like he's okay, but headed off the sideline. 3rd and 1. Coach, you got to be careful here. Sometimes these 3rd and 1 teams that like to throw the football try to think everybody's up front, and then they surprise you downfield.
I'll see if they go back to that screen again.
Abate up the front. Some nice initial pressure. Did he get enough? I think he's short.
He's about a half a yard short right there. Spotted at the top. Yep.
Good job by Monchery getting some headway on the line. Now they're going to give him the first down. Wow.
It's a generous spot there from our officiating crew, but
so we're going to get a 1 yard pickup for a baddie. Couple of boos from the Middletown crowd.
Deservedly so. It looked like he came up about half a yard short there, but first set of downs here to play with, see what happens.
1st and 10 for the Wildcats from their own 36. Back to passes Lupkovich. Looking downfield. One-on-one coverage. Nice job that time. I got the binoculars over there. I just think that's not a great call. I thought that was good coverage by Middletown's number 15, Owen Brinson. One-on-one coverage. Both of them had a hand on each other. We'll see if we can get a replay on here for you. Some good one-on-one coverage. Both players. A little bit of the left hand on the player, but that's tough.
I think there comes a time in high school football where you let the kids play it out. Both kids had a hand extended. There was no push off there. Could have made an argument maybe that the offensive player made a push off there.
And if you're a defensive coach, you got to be telling your cornerback that's how I want you to play. A body trying to get around the far corner. Nice job that time by that defensive front for Middletown, this time led by number 44 for the Midi Bears, to Sean Pelham. No gain on the play for a baddie.
Tayshawn missed all last game. Seeing him on the field early on in this game and making an impact right away is fantastic, because that's one of the kids that they really need to step up on this defense. Young kid, a lot of experience, great athlete. Seeing him in the middle right now is going to help this defense a lot.
Dual receivers on either side for Warwick on 2nd and 10 from their Middletown 49. Straight back to pass. Looked like a screenplay being set up, and a nice job by Warwick at the 45, the 40. A lot of running room for Perez at the 35-30, and nicely set up by Warwick on the screen.
That was great patience and trusting his team by their quarterback. The Middletown kids were all over him.
20-yard pickup on that play for Perez and Lupkovich. They've hooked up twice for 34 yards here in the opening quarter. So 1st and 10 for Warwick at the Middletown 29-yard line.
It's well done there. That was well done. A little more skillful than I am.
Little bug situation here in the press box. 1st and 10 for Lupkovich and the Wildcats. And a late flag might be no, there was still 2 seconds on the play clock. Were there 12 people on the field? I only see 11.
There's no foul on the play for a legal substitution.
Looked like they might have broke the huddle, but they didn't break the huddle before that kid left the field.
Yeah. So a do-over for the official. 1st and 10, Warwick at the Middletown 29-yard line. Abadi on the handoff right up the middle. Number 99 for the Midi Bears with the tackle, Liam Rosario. Couple of yards on the pickup for Abadi. 2nd and 8 for Warwick. Clock winding down inside a minute 20 in the opening quarter. No score, but Warwick's driving here at Fowler. Abate to the left of Lupkovich. Lupkovich keeps the football. Having a lot of trouble, though, and finally brought down on the play by number 11 for the Midi Bears, Giovanni Pierre. But the initial penetration by number 81 for Middletown was Andre Marag. A loss of 1 on the play. a big third down for both teams, though Warwick's likely for them. This will be 4-down territory. Last 20 seconds running down here in the first quarter. We'll see if Warwick decides to, and they'll have to. There's only 5 seconds left on the play clock. Lubkovic pitches us ahead, a little pass around the 20-yard line and the 15, down to the 25, into the 20-yard line.
Their ability to convert on these third and longs is killing us. We've had a lot of tackle opportunities in the backfield, and they're just a step away each time.
A lot of missed tackles, Coach. Right now, that ends it for us here in the first quarter. No score, but Warwick is driving here at Fowler. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats after our intermission stop as the teams change sides. So, early on, Coach, you got to like the way the defense has rebounded after last week. But like you just mentioned, particularly on third down, a lot of what looks like to me, and you can correct me, a lot of high tackling, and the receivers and or running backs for Warwick are pretty much shedding those type of tackles. So that's a little rough sometimes.
And it's, in the first and second down, you're seeing that gang tackling mentality where they're all coming together. Third down, it looks like you got a few guys trying to make plays on their own, and it's leaving the Warwick kids one-on-one with some of our defenders. And those Warwick running backs are tough. Those are hard-nosed kids. They're dropping their shoulder and running. We've had a couple opportunities in the backfield, though, so you got to feel good that the opportunities are there to make the plays. Now we just have to make the plays.
43 yards on the ground on 10 carries so far for Warwick's number 44, the senior running back, Giacomo Abate. Also touching the football for Warwick, Quentin Lisiaga's got a 6-yard carry. And then the Warwick quarterback, Danny Lubkovic, has a loss of 1 yard on his only carry, though he's connected on 2 of 3 from the air for 34 yards. Both of those connections to number 3, Sean Perez, the junior wide receiver, or the split end for Warwick. Middletown's only had the football once. 1st and 10 from the Middletown 18 for the Wildcats. Back to pass. Lubkovic on the far side's got a connection, but making the stop for a loss on the play for Middletown is number 44, Tayshawn Pelham. Second time we've mentioned his name. A 2-yard loss for Lubkovic and Lisiaga.
It's been a lot of short passes for Warwick. You feel eventually like that they're going to have to test that deep ball, which is a little untraditional for these guys.
Abate with the carry, coming up with the big stop and limiting the game to just a 1 yard.
Tayshawn one more
is
time.
Pelham once again. Yep.
They were definitely missing him last week. He's a very quiet kid, but he brings a presence with him.
And what you saw on that play is he recognized what was going on immediately. Third down as you hear the bells tolling here at Fowler. Third down for Warwick. Middletown 19. It's a handoff to Abate. Nothing there as that Middletown front line, led by number 22, Alex Llano Torres.
Hopefully this flag is.
And there is a flag on the play.
Distance to the goal.
And unfortunately for the Midi Bears, a face mask penalty. And instead of bringing up what would have been a 4th down, they'll mark it off. We'll see if this was a 5-yarder. He did call a personal foul, though, didn't he?
He did. I think sometimes they get confused with the calls there.
Yeah, so it looks like it's an incidental 5-yard face mask because they only marked off 5 yards. But obviously, that gives Warwick another opportunity or two. Not sure if they have a good kicker or not, but it's going to bring up 3rd and 6 for the Middletown 14. Lepkovich hands it off right up the middle. Going across the 10-yard line for Warwick.
4th and 1, high school football, this close to the end zone, you're going to see a 4th down play coming.
Aaron Callender on the carry for Warwick. Picked up 3 on the play. 4th down and 2 for Warwick from the Middletown 10-yard line. Can the Midi Bears hold here and regain possession on downs? The smorgasbord of plays is open here for the Wildcats. They can run or throw. They're going to give it to Abadi, and he's got enough for the first down. Still on his feet and gets into the end zone. Again, not being able to bring down the would-be runner. The Midi Bears tackling needs to get better in this ball game. They give up the touchdown from 10 yards out to Abate.
Warwick's got a long-standing tradition of awarding that number 44 jersey to one of the toughest kids on their team, and Abate's definitely living up to that today.
And as I usually do on every telecast, there's a Syracuse reference, number 44, a big number for the Orange.
Figured this year was going to be different.
Never. In for the extra point for the Wildcats. It's a good snap. The kick is up. It's a low liner. And it's good by number 29, William Room. And the Wildcats take a 7-0 lead with 9:41 remaining in this first half. So I tell you, Coach, that Middletown defense looking much better as far as getting penetration. They're getting much better at recognizing who's got the football and coming up, trying to make the tackle. But a lot of high tackles, and Abate's been able to just shed those off.
Yeah, they don't have his dimensions here, but he looks like a stocky gentleman, and he's running hard. They just got to stick to the gang tackle, and they got to come together. You got to see 2-3 guys on him. They got to wear him down. You know, they can't just let him be in the open field one-on-one versus our guys. We have some smaller guys back there. You know, it's nice to see Tayshawn take him down a couple times by himself, but the rest of those guys could use a little bit of help from one another.
I think you definitely want to go waist and lower on him as far as tackling is concerned, because if you're just going to go one-on-one with him, he's a fire plug. Ball on the near side. I think that's JoJo Royal at the 15, the 20, the 25, and a nice hit defensively on special teams by Warwick's number 24. That was Jackson Maselli on the stop. So now important for this Middletown offense, their second attempt at the football, to put together a nice long drive that keeps that defense resting on the sideline.
You know, I liked last week early in the game we got into Andy and let Andy Aristine really get rolling with that. Hope to get him going here this our second drive here and see what he can get going, because he was a huge focal point of that offense to start and end the first half of the last week's game.
1st and 10 for the Midi Bears, their own 28. Russo from the shotgun. Fake to Tinsley, the toss on the far side. Aristine with the one-handed catch at the 30, cuts it back inside. Almost fumbled the football, but got it back at the 35-yard line, so a good gainer of 7 yards on the play.
Andy's a kid that he's going to get better with the volume of carries. You got to just make sure we keep getting him the ball and letting him take advantage of his athletic ability in the open field.
2nd and 3 for Middletown from their own 35-yard line. Tinsley's in the backfield with Russo. Trips receiver on the near side for Middletown. That's Aristine Barbosa and JoJo Royal on the near side. A lot of talent there in that wide receiver core, and that's where he's looking. Aristine with the football, drops it. It's going to fall incomplete. Bringing up 3rd down.
I know at halftime it's going to be one of the things that Coach Strenfeld talks about. They got to stop giving away plays. We've had a lot of opportunities here, and we've given away too many plays also, though.
On that particular pass, you would have liked to see Aristine maybe come back towards the football.
On our tunnel screen there, that's what happens. He's supposed to come back a little bit deeper, and really attack the ball and not wait for it to come to him.
Looks like Russo's changing the play here. Again, trips receivers on the near side. Aristine, this time he finds him at the 40-yard line, does a nice job cutting back in and gaining the first down. So almost pretty much the same play.
And this time he comes back to the ball, attacks it. Now he catches that ball before defenders get a chance to react to him.
10-yard pickup on the play. Russo to Aristine. Second time they've hooked up this afternoon. 1st and 10 for Middletown at their own 44-yard line. Tinsley comes off. Sepulveda back in, stationing himself to the right of Russo. And we continue with the trips receiver set on the near side. Russo going to kick the football. Tried to find a blocker that just never materialized. He was trying to follow the block of Caleb McZorn, but a nice job by that Warwick defensive line to kind of hold ground. One-yard pickup for Russo. 2nd and 9 for Middletown from their own 45. Plenty of time on the play clock as it just hits 15. Back to passes, Russo looking over the middle. Intercepted by Warwick at the 35, across midfield, back in the Middletown territory. The interception by the Wildcats, Nicholas Vicchiardo. He was just stationed back there, just roaming away, and Russo couldn't get the football down to the would-be receiver. It'll be 1st and 10 for Warwick, back in the Middletown territory, the Midi Bear 46-yard line.
It's hard. They had that safety sitting over the top of that trips the whole time. He really didn't even move. Ball just kind of hit him right in the chest there. Yeah, trips into the boundary like that, creates a short field, and safety just sitting on the hash right there. Someone should take advantage of that with something a little bit shorter, maybe a crossing route.
And Russo had plenty of time to throw the football that time. 1st and 10 for
our young offensive line is looking a lot better this week.
Lubkovic hands it off to Abate. Over the middle, across the 40, down to the 39-yard line. 7-yard pickup for Abate. And really important here for this Middletown defense to kind of hold some ground here. Middletown will get the football to start the second half, so it'd be nice for them to have a defensive stop, put some points on, and then get the football right back to start the second half. Up the middle this time, a nice job. Believe that might have been Rosario again for Middletown.
3rd and short here. They're doing a great job running the ball. There's no reason to get away from that on 3rd and short right now. If you're watching their offensive line, their pulls and traps are great. They're really popping some holes on that Middletown defensive line.
And you figure Warwick's got 2 opportunities here to try to get in the first down. They might even try to go downfield on one, knowing that they'll have a 4th down pickup.
Yeah, watching that. Oh.
Lubkovic from the shotgun. And there's a whistle there. There's a flag on the play. It's going to be delay a game.
On the offense, number 14. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
Coach Sirico over on the Warwick sideline can't be happy.
Sometimes a play like that might be the break that they need. You're pushing back a little bit here. Give our defense a little time to catch its breath.
They were looking at the official thinking that maybe they just didn't set that clock correctly. But the 5 yards brings the ball all the way back to the Middletown 42-yard line. 3rd down and 6 for Warwick.
They'll be using a timeout.
They're going to have to call another timeout here. Not another, but a timeout to avoid a second delay game. So 5:07 remaining here from Fowler in the first half. Middletown down 7-0 to Warwick as the Midi Bears try to shed that turnover.
I got to tell you, the reviews on your emceeing of the Hall of Fame thing were very high from the Middletown wrestlers who were inducted today. They were very impressed with
Thank you.
how you conducted it and how you ran it. And, they had nothing but praise for how this morning went.
That comes from his Syracuse education.
That time you mentioned Syracuse. Yeah.
I beat you to it.
No, it's an honor. Some of those stories get personal. Tom Clark was my economics teacher. I went on one of those soccer trips to Mexico.
What an amazing experience.
Yeah.
A high school team to another country.
Actually played in the shadow of Azteca Stadium down in Mexico City, which holds like 100,000 people.
Wow.
And we're playing a soccer game right next to the stadium. It was like, and I was, 18 at the time, so it was an amazing experience. 3rd and 6 for the Wildcats. Lubkovic back to pass, going downfield, wide open on the far sideline. That's going to be a Warwick touchdown. Not sure how that happens off the timeout.
Well, they ran the screen 3 times on the first drive, and they faked the screen that time and went over the top with it. It looked like our corner up on that side there bit up on what he thought was going to be the screen, and that time the outside receiver released.
3rd catch of the afternoon for Sean Perez of Warwick. He's got 76 yards on 3 catches here in the first half. William Room in for the extra point, a botched up snap. Middletown does a nice job covering the holder on the play, and so the extra point goes for naught. One of the positive things happening for the Midi Bears here in the first half is they trail at 13-0 with 4:58 remaining in the first half. But we talked about some of our other inductees. Wayne Beam, who was a senior the year that I was an 8th grader coming in. He was a real mentor on the track and field team in those days.
I was talking about it at the bagel shop this morning with the lady who runs the bagel shop. You don't realize as a young kid that these are going to be people that you admire your entire life. Now we're all of similar age, but you still look back to when you were in high school and you looked up to these guys and admired these guys. And even as adults, you still admire their accomplishments. And it says a lot about them.
I believe we'll be playing the Hall of Fame video as the kickoff comes down at the 15. Tinsley on the far side goes across the 25-yard line to 30. And, Coach, I think a very important drive in this game for Middletown offensively to try to put some points on the board before halftime and then making yourself feel good when you get into halftime knowing that you get the football right back.
It just seems like each play we're one opportunity away from breaking a play or getting that little bit extra yardage. I mean, even there, a little drop of the kickoff, he was one opportunity away from breaking it. A clean catch there, he might still be running. We got to really iron out these mistakes and just play sound football.
So for the Midi Bears on offense, it'll be 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line. And we've got a Warwick timeout. Coach Sirico probably not liking what he saw defensively with what Middletown had going out there offensively.
Seemed like he was trying to call out some adjustments, and his defense was not making the adjustments needed.
So what do you tell your team here, Coach, on this particular drive, knowing that they've, what you mentioned, some fundamental stuff needs to get cleaned up?
I mean, 5 minutes is a long time. You could put together a long drive for 5 minutes, score at the end of the half, but really it just comes down to trusting your job and executing what your job is. And it seems like right now, between last game and early on in this game, we got some guys that are pressing a little bit, trying to make the big play every play. But that doesn't seem to be who we are this year. We're going to be the team that's got to do it all right. They've got to execute, and that's what they've got to be reminded of right now. Like, there's 11 guys. All 11 guys do their job, and something great's going to happen.
And just from your defense being tired, Warwick's run at least 21 to 25 plays, and the Midi Bears have only run about 6 or 7 so far.
And a lot of their plays have been 3rd and 4th downs, where you think you got them off the field, and mentally that's very straining on a defensive player.
There's a pitch to Tinsley on the near side, trying to take advantage of his speed, trying to get around the near side. A nice job that time defensively by Quentin Lisiaga to limit the damage, but Tinsley with a nice gainer on first down.
That Warwick defense doing a good job of reading our motion and flowing over the top. You'd expect to see something coming back away from that motion eventually, take advantage of how well they're flowing.
4 yards on the play for Tinsley, 2nd and 6 for Middletown from their own 33-yard line. Fakes the toss to Tinsley on the far side. Sepulveda with the catch. 35-yard line. He gets across near the 40-yard line. I think he's got enough for the first down.
Looks like a favorable spot for us.
They'll mark it right at the 40-yard line, so a pickup of 5. He needed 4, got 5. 1st and 10, Middletown, their own 40-yard line, and a little momentum for the Midi Bears. And the last 2 plays both went out of bounds, so the clock stopped. 4:33 remaining. Plenty of time for Middletown here on this drive. Fake to Tinsley. Russo keeps it. He's at the 40, 45-yard line. He's got a big gainer across midfield into Warwick territory at the 48-yard line.
The last 2 plays, we've taken advantage of them flowing over the top of that motion, come back away both times. And, now we'll see if we can get Warwick to play a little bit more of a true defense and see how, give our guys an opportunity to make some real plays here.
I think there was a flag on the play because they have not moved the yard marker.
I don't see any flags on the field.
I don't. The official's kind of waiting for the public address announcer to stop.
On the offense, number 50.
That's what it is.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's first down.
Well, great job by the announcer. We take all that back.
So I did not see the flag, but it's going to cost the Midi Bears a first down carry and brings the ball all the way back to the 35-yard line, 1st and 15. Aristine off the carry, 35-40. He's got running room across the far side into Warwick territory. First down for Aristine and no flags on this particular play. 1st and 10, Middletown.
And it really seems more and more as we're watching this team early in the season that Aristine is going to be what makes this offense tick. They got to keep feeding him the ball and just keep letting him get better and better.
And that's only his 2nd carry, but 19 yards on the pickup, 1st and 10 for Middletown at the Warwick 46-yard line. 3:45 remaining here in the first half. As we see number 2 for the Midi Bears, Israel Alefa, come off the field. 9 seconds on the play clock. Back to passes, Russo.
Plenty of time.
Brings it back down. He's going to run the football. 45, the 40-yard line. Nice stop that time, or nice hit by Aaron Callender, but not before Russo picks up some good yardage to the 36-yard line, a pickup of 5.
Nice to see him, have the confidence there to tuck it and run that time. Good coverage downfield, good pocket for him, but trusting his own athletic ability and scrambling.
2nd and 5 for Russo and the Midi Bears at the Warwick 36. 2:49 remaining here in the first half. Back to passes, Russo on the near side. Had Barbosa, but he dropped the ball. Tried to turn up field before he had the ball.
Very uncharacteristic drop out of Aiden, too. Aiden tends to be one of the more short-handed receivers. A kid that you've been seeing it, trying to get him more involved in the offense. Teams are focusing on him right now, though. So you have a safety sitting over top of him for the 2nd week in a row. They're trying to find ways to get him involved before that safety play comes over the top, and that screen might have created some opportunities.
Midi Bears look a little confused, trying to get direction from Coach Strenfeld on the sideline. Play clock down to 10. 3rd and 5. Aristine has got the football, trying to get around the corner.
Okay.
Does a nice job shedding off some would-be tacklers.
It's going to make this 4th down a little bit more manageable here. Broke some tackles of his own, a little 4th and 3.
They're going to mark the football at the 38 of Warwick. 2:24 with the clock winding down. 4th down and 3. Make that 4th down and 2 after the 2-yard pickup by Aristine.
See if maybe they try to go on 2 here, get a clap count, get some free yardage.
There was a clap right there, but they didn't bite. They'll look to the sideline for Coach Strentville. 10 on the play clock. Under 2 minutes left here in the first half. Down to 5 on the play clock. And they're going to have to call timeout. Just a little bit too much time getting instruction from the sideline. And so the Midi Bears unfortunately had to shed their second timeout here. They're down to 1 with 1:48 left in the first half.
There's a good thought there, trying to get that Warwick defense to jump off sides. See a lot of them walking around with their hands on their hips, looking a little fatigued there, trying to take advantage of them. But, well-coached team, Coach Tirico, kept those guys in check. Where is that going?
The windstorm, as you hear Coach Lichtenstein
Taking one of those
talk
like
about the soccer benches that have that shade protection. Unfortunately, that serves as a parachute when it's windy.
It's a good catch by that Warwick coach.
Should have jumped on it, went for a ride.
He's going to turn it in the opposite direction, hoping that'll work. But
bring himself down to Mix and Mac for a free ride. Back over.
That actually sounds pretty good.
You don't got to work that hard. It's just bench will take you for a quick little ride.
So a nice crowd here at Fowler. They've settled in nicely, hoping to see if Middletown can convert on this 4th down. They have 4th and 2 from the Warwick 38-yard line. 1:48 remaining here in the first half. The Midi Bears down to 1 timeout. Warwick also with 1 timeout. First things first, Middletown's going to want to try to get a first down here. Now, Russo's just going to take the football. Did he get enough? It's going to be close.
Looks like it.
I think he got it, but I was wrong last time when we thought Warwick was short.
It looks like the line judge at the top there has it.
Yeah, he just motioned.
The sideline judge has it for
yeah,
first
he
down.
just motioned as a first down. So a nice job for Russo. Needed 2, got 2. First down, Middletown. Now the clock comes into play here with only 1 timeout, so you want to get right up to the line of scrimmage as the clock starts to run at 1:20 remaining. Aristine in motion. Russo straight back to pass. Still trying to find. Got a lot of times going to hold the football. And he dives forward near the 30-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 31. Pick up a 4 on the play. A minute left. Russo needs to get right back. Just a lot of time being taken up here by Middletown. They take the signs from Coach Strentville, and they got to look down on their wrist for the play. Aristine in motion. Russo straight back to pass. Looking downfield. On the inside, finds a receiver for a first down. That'll stop the clock momentarily. JoJo Royal on the reception.
That's all we need right there. Is we just need some short passes. Just eat up some field. Now with the clock running a little short here, we got to get in the end zone. But that's what they've been looking for the whole game.
Aristine back in motion, back to pass, going towards the end zone. Had him and then tripped up on his own. The turf monster got the would-be receivers. That was JoJo Royal on the far side, and I think he was headed for a touchdown.
I don't necessarily agree with the incidental contact there. When both players end up on the floor, you usually think that there might have been some contact down there.
So that stops the clock with 13 seconds. 2nd and 10 for Middletown from the Warwick 22-yard line. This is where having to waste some of those timeouts earlier hurts. They do have 1 remaining, so any play short of a first down, you need to call the timeout right away. And you got to make sure the plays don't take a long time developing. Tinsley in motion, back to pass. Russo over the middle. He's got a receiver. Aristine for the touchdown. Beautiful pass by Russo to Aristine, and the Midi Bears are on the board.
That's the spark they're going to need headed into halftime. They're believing that they have the opportunity to really make those plays consistently.
We'll take a look at the replay on that Middletown touchdown. Good protection by that offensive line, and a nice pass over the middle. He found Aristine between two would-be defenders, the safety up high and the cornerback down low.
And Russo's got to see that more and more, that he has that ability to throw that ball, thread it in there.
Segovia Jr. in for the extra point attempt. It is up, and it is good. And with 7 seconds remaining, the Midi Bears couldn't have drawn it up any better. Not only did they drive down the football field for a touchdown, they left only 7 seconds on the clock for that Warwick offense.
That's what we talked about before the drive started. You want to eat up as much of that clock as possible. Going to halftime, something positive, something you can build on. The kids are excited heading into the locker room here.
And you get the football back to start the second half.
And now you know that you have the ability to score.
So the Midi Bears, that was only their third offensive possession of the afternoon. They put up a touchdown from 22 yards out. The connection, Anthony Russo, to number 7, Andy Aristine, for the touchdown.
And that whole drive, they limited the mistakes, limited the penalties. That's who these guys have to be. They don't have that big play guy right now, and they're still finding their way offensively. So to play mistake-free football is going to be key for them to be successful.
And we talked that even on the play earlier from the touchdown, JoJo Royal looked like he was open, if not for that quote-unquote incidental contact.
Yeah.
So a lot of good things on that drive. The kick comes down to Perez at about the 12. He's at the 20. Still on his feet at the 30-yard line, out to the 35. As the clock winds down to 0, we'll see if that takes us to halftime or if they put a second back on the clock.
Looks like they're winding it down. Halftime, the clock's on the half.
So we're going to head into the locker room at halftime here at Fowler Field. Ed Estrada, Jason Lichtenstein, and Ed Diller bringing you all the action. The Midi Bears head into the locker room at half, down 13-7, but a late touchdown gives the team in blue a little momentum as we go to halftime. We'll take a break as we get ready to head into our Hall of Fame video. Again, we're going to be honoring earlier this morning our Wall of Fame ceremony. Wayne Beam, Tom Clark, Steve Garland, Sharon Russell Parr, Kendrick Ray, Doug Spellman, Diane Wanzer, and the 4x400-meter relay team of Adam Abdur-Rahman, Darren Brown, Webb Pierre, Shakoy Burton, Manny Mosley, and Mel Mosley. Let's take a look at our Wall of Fame class. There you have it, our Wall of Fame class of 2025. Wayne Beam, Tom Clark, Steve Garland, Sharon Russell Parr, Kendrick Ray, Doug Spellman, Diane Wanzer, and our 4x400-meter relay team of Adam Abdur-Rahman, Darren Brown, Webb Pierre, Shaquoy Burton, Manny Mosley, and Mel Mosley as they won the national championship in 2011. Ed Estrada, Jason Lichtenstein, Ed Diller bringing you all the action on Midi TV. Middletown trails at halftime 13-7, but the Midi Bears scored to end that first half, and they have the football to start the second half. We'll take a break on Midi TV. We're back here at Fowler Field at Middletown High School. Ed Estrada, Jason Lichtenstein, Ed Diller, our producer. Beautiful afternoon for high school football. Middletown trailing Warwick 13-7. And Coach, if you were in that Middletown locker room, what would you be telling your team right now?
Only positive. Only positive. You're finding all the good things they did during that first half, and you're just reminding them, again, you're playing selfless football here. You got to play mistake-free football in the second half. But you put together a 5-minute drive to end the first half, and that's got to give you a lot of confidence to have a sustained drive like that and then to end it with the score. And now you get the ball, a good drive here, you take a lead, now they get their first lead of the season, that confidence starts to roll. And with the Middletown kids, once we get that confidence going, you can't stop them. And that's what they got to look to right here. Hopefully a big return. They've had RJ and JoJo back there, and hopefully one of those guys can break one and, get us that spark that we need.
And we talked about the fact that, the Middletown offense, even against Rye last week, shows some promise. I mean, we talked earlier about the fact that Rye held Somers to 7 points. Midi Bears outdid that last week against Rye offensively. And as you can see, they're about to get the football back, trailing by 6. We'll see if that missed extra point by Warwick comes back to haunt the Wildcats.
That missed extra point tends to come back and haunt teams.
Isn't it amazing? It's like a walk in baseball. It always comes back.
A 2-out error, you just know a run's being scored.
JoJo Royal with the football at the 15, across the 20 and the 25, across the 30. And a good return that time by JoJo. Brings the ball out past the 35-yard line. Good field position for Middletown to start the second half at their own 36.
Not a huge spark there, but it's still good field position. Best field position we've started with so far. But last week we were able to break a bunch of plays, and all 3 of our plays that we scored on were long plays over 20 yards. RJ had the 2 runs. I think each run was over 50 yards. They got to get something like that going right here.
And the touchdown to end the first half was from 22 yards out on the Russo toss to Aristine. 1st and 10 for Middletown. Sepulveda to the right of the quarterback. Russo from the shotgun. That's Aristine. Gets the pitch. Goes down as a pass across the 35 and the 40, and a good gainer on first down.
Andy's a solid 5 to 6 yards every carry. He's not going to break one, but he's going to get you that solid yardage that'll wear down this defense.
It was pitched forward, so that'll be a 7-yard pass from Russo to Aristine. 2nd and 3 for Middletown from their own 43. Just getting started here in the second half. They trail it by 6. Want to welcome everybody here to Midi TV, your home for Middletown home football games. You can also listen to the team on Wall Radio throughout the season. Wall Radio carries both home and away games, 1340 on your dial. Russo keeps the football across the 45-yard line. I think he's got enough forward momentum for that first down of the 46.
Seems like the line judge at the top spotted it first. At the bottom here, though, yep, they're waving him.
33 yards on the ground for Anthony Russo. That's his 7th carry. An efficient 33 yards. 1st and 10 from the Middletown 46. Back to pass, straight is Russo. Good protection, rolls to his right, going to throw it downfield. He's got Barbosa on the near sideline across into Warwick territory.
You do have a flag back there.
Looks like it's going to come back for a hold probably.
Holding on the offense, number 55. That's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Midi Bears have not been fouled a lot, but they've come in inopportune times. And that's a spot foul 10 yards from where it happened, which was deep in the backfield. So it's going to be a lot of yards. Yeah. So that negates what would have been a first down completion of Barbosa and places the ball back to the original line where they started on this drive at the 36. The problem is they'll need 20 yards. But it is first down, so still an opportunity for the Midi Bears to go downfield in this passing attack. Aristine and Tinsley come back in. Handoff to Aristine. Across the 45-yard line, cuts it back inside at about the 44-yard line. A good gainer there on first down for Aristine. He gets it out to the 38-yard line.
Seems to be a consistent 5 to 6 yards.
And that's 43-yard line, my apologies. Pickup of 7 for Aristine. Second down and 13 now. A little bit more manageable on second down.
Well, like a couple more yards to get back there, but, you know, Andy's running hard. He's running through a lot of tackles this week.
Tinsley in motion. Back to passes Russo. Over the middle. He's got Barbosa across the 45-yard line of Warwick, and it'll be a first down for the Midi Bears on the connection from Russo to Barbosa, first time this afternoon.
Aiden's at his strongest on all crossing routes. You know, it's easy to take away a receiver on a deep ball, but when he's running those crossing routes, you know, his footwork and his hands are just about as good as anybody's.
15 yards on the connection, and you're watching Anthony Russo feel more and more comfortable in the pocket there against this Warwick defense. 1st and 10 from the Warwick 42. Russo's going to keep the football across the 40-yard line. Down near the 38, a pickup of 4. 2nd and 6, a long 6. Eight and a half remaining here in the third quarter. Middletown trails it by 6, but they're driving. 2nd and 6 from the Warwick 38. Tinsley in motion. The pitch to Tinsley. Across the 40 to 35. He's got a first down into Warwick's, inside the 30-yard line of Warwick, down to the 29-yard line.
This is exactly what we needed. A nice drive, consistent drive, getting a couple first downs here, and you're just going to start seeing more and more confidence coming out of these kids.
And we're watching Coach Strenfeld make sure that his athletes get the football. We've seen Barbosa touch the football. We've now seen Tinsley touch the football on this drive. 1st and 10 from the Warwick 29. Plenty of time left on the play clock. Now down to 7 seconds.
This left
and
defensive
now
end.
they're still struggling. They may need to call a timeout here. 2 seconds on the clock. And Middletown's forced to call a timeout.
On the play, timeout, Middletown.
So just like that first half, when Middletown had to burn a couple of timeouts as the play clock dwindled down in the second half in a close ball game, that comes back to haunt you sometimes.
I'm not 100% sure what's going on because all the guys out there do have their wristbands on, and they're all looking down at it. Might be some confusion with the codes coming in from the sideline, but
it does look, I mean, it looked like they finally got the play in with about 10 to 8 seconds left on the clock, and then you have the players looking down on their wristband, and by the time you get to 2 seconds, coach has got to decide whether or not to call that timeout.
And it's hard as a coach, too. You're the offensive coordinator. You always got to have 2 plays ready. One play if the play goes well, one play if the play doesn't go well. You know, this way it's a little bit quicker and more efficient getting the next play in so these guys are ready to go and they can find the call on their cards there.
And the team itself has to show that urgency, knowing that it's coming down. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for Middletown at the Warwick 29-yard line. 8:14 remaining here at Fowler. Beautiful day, temperature in the mid-70s, a slight breeze going across the field from the bottom of your screen to the top as Middletown tries to get its first win of the year. Coming across, and there's a hard count. It's going to cost Warwick 5 yards.
Encroachment on the defense, number 2. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
Called against Sal Spinelli, the senior linebacker. And it'll be 1st and 5, and this opens up the playbook for Coach Strenfeld and the Midi Bears. Tinsley in motion, Russo back to pass. He's going to try the near side. One-on-one. Barbosa plays defense, and Warwick comes down with the interception. One-on-one coverage. Number 8 for the Wildcats. Logan Conley, the senior defensive back, comes down with the football and the interception. And a tough way to end this opening drive of the second half for Middletown, as they were driving, had it 1st and 5 at the Warwick 24-yard line. And the interception in the end zone gives the Wildcats the ball at the 20.
You have a great drive there. You're eating up the clock, eating up 5 yards at a pop. You know, 1st and 5. It's a great down distance. Take a shot at the end zone there because you know you got a short chain and.
But you got to place the football in a place where only your receiver can catch it. You want to go more towards the sideline, I would think, on that toss. In pursuit, that Middletown defense much better this time on the tackling that we talked about in the first half, and that's going to be a 5-yard loss.
Caleb's doing a good job getting in the backfield. He's been doing a good job all game getting in the backfield. He's got to leave his feet there and try to make that tackle and stop waiting for that runner to come into him. But he's right there opening up opportunities for other defenders.
A loss of 5 on the carry by Quentin Lisiaga, who came over from his wide receiver role. Abadi fumbles the football. Midi Bears say they have it. Still no indication. There is a flag on the play as well, but it looks like Warwick recovers the football. And there is no, I think the official was trying to throw his beanbag to mark the turnover. So a loss of 1 on the play for Abadi on his first touch of the second half. And it's going to bring up a long 3rd down and about 16. We'll call it 17 for Warwick. Midi Bears have to make sure to keep their folks in front of them. Going down, one-on-one coverage just through the fingertips on number 3, Sean Perez, who's been the big-time receiver for them. That was a little too close to comfort, considering that you wanted to keep him in front of you.
I'll tell you, we've asked a lot. I mean, Owen Brinson's a freshman this year, and we've asked a lot of him the past 2 weeks. He had to cover number 5 last week, and now this week he's covering their best receiver. It's impressive he's able to do that, but it'd be nice to have a little help over the top for that kid.
You know, I got to give kudos to our producer, Ed Diller, who's also working as the cameraman today. Nice job, Mr. Diller. And an occasional announcement as well.
So next time you have the little prima donnas here that, you know.
Bad snap into the end zone. Trying to run it out. He does get it out of the end zone, but the Midi Bears are going to come away with a 1st and goal opportunity after the botched snap to Christopher Mangels, the punter.
Man, a tackle in the end zone there would have been a great way to get that ball back, too.
Would have been 2 points plus the ball back, but nevertheless, the Midi Bears now will have an opportunity here to tie and perhaps take the lead with a good extra point.
So as I was saying, remember, next time these guys come here that, I have to be the cameraman outside and all that. Tell them you remember the day Ed did all 3 at once.
So 1 turnover for each team. Warwick scored after their interception. Middletown will try to do the same after the botched punt. Aristide takes it into the end zone from 4 yards out, and the Midi Bears have tied it.
See him come out on that wishbone there on our Hall of Fame weekend day. A little honor to Coach.
You got it, man. Perfect. Good segue there, Coach. So Middletown has put up the last 2 scores of this ball game, and with 6:20 remaining, they're an extra point away from having their first lead of the 2025 football season. Segovia Jr. in to try the extra point. And it's blocked. It was a low liner. Number 67 for Warwick. Though that one was quite easy. I'm sorry, number 57, Nathan Link. And was that Sepulveda? No, I'm sorry, that was number 9, and I apologize. I keep forgetting that DeGiorgio is our kicker. So he was in there to try the extra point. It went for naught, and we're tied at 13. So I spoke too soon about that lead.
Yeah, not the break that we really
gave
needed
the broadcaster kibosh on that.
It's hard when you're young at kicking there to learn how to get that height on the ball. You're just trying to kick it as hard as you can, and you just calm down and get some little loft on it. It's only an extra point. You don't got to kill it.
I was just going to say, you don't actually have to even hit it that hard for an extra point.
You could just toe it, get a little height on it, get it up there.
So the Midi Bears will go on defense after scoring a touchdown from 4 yards out, Andy Aristine. And we'll see if the defense can hold this Wildcat team. They've done a nice job so far, halfway through the third quarter. It's on the near side, taking it by, I believe that's Abate, across the 30, the 35-yard line. Good field position out to the 40, where Warwick will take over 1st and 10.
You have to wonder if our actual kicker is hurt, because I have not seen Rivera Marino today.
Yeah, that was for the Midi Bears, number 24. That wasn't Roberts kicking that, was it?
No, that was DeGiorgio again.
Okay. Yeah, Rosario only kicked once. But Segovia kicked the first extra point, and then he wasn't in there for the second one.
I don't see him on the sideline right now either.
Abate up the middle. Pick up a 4 to the 44, 2nd and 6 for Warwick. You are correct. I don't see number 34 on the sideline for Middletown. I didn't see in the first half whether he took any hits. Does the soccer team have a game today?
That's what I was wondering. I'm not sure what happened.
Levkovich on the far side. He's got a connection at the 45-yard line and then driven backwards. We'll see where they mark the football. They're going to give him forward progress to the 47. Connection that time.
That's another piece I understand, but I don't necessarily agree with. He made a voluntary action to go backwards.
I agree. I don't think that was good forward progress. He tried to avoid the tackle and come backwards, but they gave him credit for it. 3-yard pickup on the catch to Lisiago. And a big third down play here. Not probably 4-down territory if the Midi Bears can stop the Wildcats here. Lubkovic keeps the football and gets some running room in the Middletown territory across the 35 before Tinsley brings them down, but a big gainer on 3rd down for the Wildcats. $19 yards on the pickup. Lubkovic, only his 2nd carry of the afternoon, not historically a running quarterback. But a big gainer for the Wildcats. They have it 1st and 10 at the Middletown 34 with 4:18 remaining here in the third quarter. Middletown has to bend but not break defensively. Again, Lubkovic going to keep it, but he goes straight down as DeGiorgio does a nice job shedding his would-be blocker. It's going to be a loss of 4 on the play. Second and 14 from the Middletown 38. Nice crowd here at Fowler. Lubkovic from the shotgun. Abate with the carry. And a nice job that time by Middletown's number 99, Liam Chester Rosario, making the tackle, shedding his blocker. And another yard loss. Down to the 38-yard line. They'll mark him for no gain instead of the loss. 3rd and 14. Lubkovic straight back to pass. Good protection. Finally, DeGiorgio got through, forcing him to scramble to the right. He's going to keep the football before he's finally hit out of bounds at about the 33-yard line, and it's going to bring up a 4th down with Warwick likely to go for it. 5 yards on the pickup for Lubkovic. 4th and 9.
Yeah, I don't think this week we're going to see another 50-yard field goal attempt.
No.
Impressive they even tried that last week. I don't see the Warwick kicker having the ability to do that.
And he had plenty of distance, too, on that. Just shanked it left. 4th and 9. A big play for both teams. Lubkovic straight back to pass. One-on-one towards the end zone. And a flag on the play, but he came down with the football. An amazing catch. Boy, what a day Warwick's Sean Perez is having there as a receiver.
His ability to go up and come down with that ball is impressive. He's coming down with that no matter what.
So the penalties decline. The ball's marked at the 10, a 23-yard pickup for Sean Perez. 1st and goal from the 10 for Warwick. He's got receptions of 23, 42, 20, and 14 yards on the afternoon.
Every one of his receptions has been contested, too. He hasn't been wide open on any of them.
And Warwick's first to call a timeout here.
He's just gone up and come down with every ball thrown his way.
.99 yards on the afternoon on just 4 catches for Warwick's Sean Perez. He's just a junior, but one of the team's captains.
If I remember, he had a pretty good game against us last year. So I think I remember hearing that name a couple times when we were up in the booth.
So still an opportunity here for Middletown to shut them down unless we think they'll kick a field goal on 4th down. But
watching
first
their
we got to
extra
get
point
there.
attempts, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
Sometimes a little bit easier to defend on a short field from 10 yards out. But what you want to do here, you think that probably Abate, the running back, is going to get a couple of shots here.
You'd imagine he's going to get 2 or 3 carries here. And then they always have the ability to, to check one out to Perez and see what he can do. He has not disappointed him yet.
So each team has wasted a timeout here in the 3rd quarter. 2:27 remaining in the stanza. We're tied at 13. Middletown has scored the last 2 touchdowns in this ball game, but Warwick is deep in the Middletown territory. 1st and goal from the 10. And there's Abate that we discussed. And what a play that time right off that defensive line by Diaga Sarr. It's a loss of 1 on the play. And you get the impression here that Warwick offensively is probably thinking now, you know what, they're really zoning in on Abate. And this is where you got 3 shots at the end zone.
Yeah, but you don't want to. You got down here running the ball pretty well. I hate when teams go into the red zone, running the ball, and then they get down there and they start throwing the ball, and all of a sudden something inappropriate happens.
But like you said, Perez has been the factor here. Abate, what a shot! Aristine saw the pitch right away, and another loss out to the 16. A loss of 5 on that one, and on 2 plays from 1st and goal at the 10. Warwick now faces a 3rd and goal from the 16.
It's an interesting call trying to get that kid on a sweep. He's been a downhill runner all game, and all of a sudden you got him running sideways.
And he's not built that way.
No.
He is a straight north-south guy.
That does not seem to be running towards his strength.
And I will say, unlike the Midi Bears, who have several running options, he seems to be the only one other than the quarterback. But the quarterback only runs out of necessity.
Yeah, they haven't had too many design quarterback runs yet.
Lubkovic going to be throwing and rolling to his right. Finding some time. And it's incomplete. A nice job there in pursuit.
There is a flag on the field.
By Middletown's number 14. Hopefully it's not defensive holding.
He threw that as the ball was snapped, though. You would think an offensive penalty here.
I think it might be a hold. I think I saw him holding the wrist, but we'll see. Probably going to decline it.
Illegal formation on the offense. That penalty's declined. Result of the play is an incomplete pass.
So fourth down now, and you figure there's going to be just a toss to the end zone here. You don't want a penalty?
I would guess it's going to go to Perez. That's where it's gone every play so far.
And this is where discipline has got to be there for Middletown defensively. They have an opportunity for a stop with 47 seconds remaining. Here in the third quarter, the game is tied at 13. 4th and goal from the Middletown 16 for Warwick. Lubkovic straight back to pass. This time looking to the near side. Lofting it up. There's a flag on the play and intercepted by the Midi Bears. And that'll be a touchback to the 20-yard line. There is a flag on the play. So we'll see if that's a hold. They are looking towards the Middletown sideline, I believe. As Coach Strenfield has his hands on his head. Hopefully it's not a defensive hold.
Might be a roughing the passer there.
Officials still deciding.
An eligible man downfield on the offense. We have 2 fouls on the play. We have holding on the defense as well, number 7. Those penalties are going to offset. We're replaying 4th down.
So advantage to Warwick once again. Now they have another opportunity after the offsetting penalties. We did see the one flag that was kind of in the area of defensive holding. We mentioned that. What we didn't see was the illegal man downfield. So 4th and goal from the 16 once again for Warwick. Back to pass is Lubkovic. Trying to buy some time. Rolls to his right. Looking downfield on the near side. His receiver falls. This time no flags on the play. And the Midi Bears will take over on down. So they actually lose 4 yards on the play because it would have been a touchback on the interception off the end zone. But heck, we'll take it defensively. The Midi Bears doing a nice job against this Warwick offense, which put up 29 points last week against Wagner.
They needed that. They needed that stop there, especially coming off that turnover. To be able to rebound and have that mental fortitude to really, bend but not break, as they say with those defensive players. That's a key. A couple penalties there that could have went either way, but their ability to stay with it mentally is huge.
1st and 10 Middletown from their own 16-yard line. Now you don't want to turn the ball over here, so the Midi Bears, you would think, may try to just see if they can get some runs working here with Tinsley, who's got the handoff, across the middle, near the 20-yard line, picks up about 3 on the play to the 19, 2nd and 7 for Middletown. Last 5 seconds. Midi's going to try to get a playoff. No, they tried to draw Warwick, and they got him. What a nice job by Anthony Russo with 1 second left on the clock.
Encroachment on the defense, number 42. That's a 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
He was watching the board, 1 second left. He gets an extra 5 yards, and it makes it a manageable 2nd down and just 2.
Do we get an untimed down here?
You would think, but it doesn't look like it. So they're going to head to the sidelines here. And we go to the 4th quarter. A nice ball game between Middletown and Warwick. We're tied at 13. The Midi Bears have scored the last 2 touchdowns in this ball game. A missed extra point by both teams. And Middletown will have the football 2nd and 2. From its own 24-yard line as the teams change sides. The Middies in their blue and white will be moving from right to left on your TV screen, while the Wildcats in their white uniforms with Purple Pants will be defending and moving offensively from your left to their right. You would think this deep in your own side of the field, coach, with a short 2nd and 2, that it's still going to be running options here for Middletown.
You would think after our short 1st and 5 there that we had last time, we're going to learn to run to our strengths. I don't think those chains are set correctly here.
Yeah, the chains. No, it's that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, they are correct now. Need to get to the 26. Might try another hard count, get another 5 yards. Warwick has been caught twice on those hard counts so far in this ball game. Russo from the shotgun, Sepulveda to his left. Tinsley in motion. Tinsley with the football on the near side. He's got a first down across the 30-yard line. A nice job by Tinsley, picking up 6 yards on the play. And all of a sudden you see Raheem Tinsley touching the football more and more.
Getting him and Andy rolling with that running game is key to this offense, because it's going to give those receivers an opportunity to get open there. It's going to give Anthony a little bit of time in that pocket when other teams have to respect the run.
What a time it would be to really just run this game all the way down to a touchdown.
High school
with the
football,
run game.
The 12-yard drive would be 12-minute drive would be quite impressive. But they could take it down here. They could put together a 5-minute drive.
Aristine then gives on Tinsley at the 35, the 40-yard line. Nice job. A first down carry that's going to get him, I think, the first down. The extra effort at the end with 3 would-be tacklers on top of him. Tinsley takes it out all the way to the 42-yard line, an 11-yard pickup, and another Middletown first down.
That was a great run by him. I was watching in the backfield, a little extra effort blocking by our number 14, Caleb, back there, making a great block that sprung him.
After last week's big loss to Ryan, falling behind 13-0, the Middletown Midi Bears showing some character.
Ooh, that's got to be a horseshoe.
But that's going to be a horseshoe tackle there. And what would have been a loss on a regular tackle, he had him in his grasp.
Andy had him beat to the corner. 15-yard penalty is not what they needed there, but it's good for us.
Horse collar on the defense, number 57. That's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the fall. The foul results in a first down.
So that's going to put the football into Warwick territory. We are tied at 14, 10:40 remaining here in the third quarter. Middletown coming back from a 13-0 deficit so far. As they mark off the 15-yard horse collar, all the way down to the Warwick 43-yard line. 1st and 10 for Middletown. Russo from the shotgun. Fakes the toss to Aristine on the near side. Has JoJo Royal at the 30, the 25, down to the 20, and inside to the Warwick 16-yard line. A big gainer for Middletown. 1st and 10 for the Midi Bears at the 16.
What a ball by Anthony Russo, throwing that back across the field, across his body, finding the open receiver there.
27 yards on the pickup.
They've done a great job the second half spreading that ball around and getting all their playmakers involved. Now that defense has to worry about everybody. They can't just key on one guy.
And the fake to Aristine is really what set up.
Yep.
Russo. Inside handoff to Aristine. Gets it down near the 15-yard line. Good job by that Warwick front line that time. Pickup of 1. As the clock continues to run, 9:40 remaining here in the fourth quarter. 2nd and 9 for Middletown. Plenty of time on the play clock as it hits 15, and Russo gets direction from Coach Strenfeld on the sideline. Aristine in motion, gets the pitch. He's at the 15, cuts it back at the 10-yard line, still on his feet, and I believe he's got enough for another Middletown first down. We'll see where they mark the football.
It's a great block by Isaiah Sepulveda there, leading him on that sweep there.
They're going to mark him just short.
Might see another instance here where Russo lines up in the gun, comes under center, sneaks one through here.
So 9 yards on the pickup. 3rd and less than a yard for the Midi Bears on what's obviously 2-down territory as well.
You're trying to get that first right now. You're not hoping for the second opportunity here.
Clock continues to run, 8.5 minutes left in the ball game. Russo's going to keep it. He's across the 5-yard line. He's got enough for a Middletown first down inside the 5-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Midi Bears at the Warwick 4. A pickup of 2 on the play.
Short down and distance, couple turnovers in the red zone already. Might want to run that well dry with Russo just taking that ball next 3 downs.
The one thing that Middletown doesn't have that Warwick seems to have is that big fullback up the middle. Russo, as Coach Lichtenstein called it, gets into the end zone for a Middletown touchdown.
Sometimes when you've been turnover, a couple tendencies for some turnovers there, just keep the ball in the kids' hands.
From 4 yards out, Anthony Russo gives Middletown its first, now I can say it, its first lead of the 2025 football season, and it comes with 7:50 remaining, but more importantly is the extra point. Now remember, we have not seen the Middletown place kicker on the sideline, so we think he is not in this ball game, and it looks like they'll be going for a 2-point try.
Without your kicker, you got to go for 2. You got to put this game away here. You can't have a 6-point lead.
So it looks like the Middletown kicker was injured. And so the Midi Bears will try a 2-point conversion. That's Tinsley to the left of Russo. Rolling to his right. On the far sideline. Did Barbosa get his feet in?
Yeah.
He did. The 2-point conversion from Russo to Aiden Barbosa in the far corner of the end zone gives Middletown a 21-13 lead with 7:50 remaining in the ball game. What a response by the Midi Bears this afternoon.
So we did get word that our kicker is at a boys varsity soccer game today, which is why we don't have him. There wasn't an injury to him. Mario.
I don't want to alarm the Segovia family. He is at the soccer game.
Yes, he is at the soccer game.
Well, we'll see if he can score a couple of goals there to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, I mean that's what you get sometimes when you have a kid playing 2 sports at once. Every once in a while they do coincide.
So 7:50 remaining in this ball game, and now we'll see if that Middletown defense, which has held pretty strong since midway through the second quarter, can continue.
They've definitely found their way. They're doing a good job hitting their holes. They're doing a good job making those reads off those pulling guards.
Comes down at about the 18-yard line. That's Perez across the 30, cutting it back inside, and a good gainer, a good return by, of course, Sean Perez of Warwick, who's been pretty much their guy. Abadi and Perez have been the guys for Warwick. So good field position for the Wildcats. At their own 42-yard line, 1st and 10. We'll set the scene for you here at Fowler. The Wildcats trail it now for the first time this afternoon, 21-13, with 7:42 remaining, and they have it 1st and 10 from their own 42. That Middletown defensive front has done a nice job against this Warwick running game here in the second half.
And Coach Conklin's adjustment to go to that 4-man front has really been the key to this.
Fakes the pitch. Abate with the football. Not much running room there, and as we just mentioned, that front line defensively for Middletown has really stepped up to the plate here in the second half. A pickup of 1.
It's a lot easier to hold your ground when you have a 4-man front there. that three-man front, you're playing gap control defense, and sometimes if you don't have the men to do it, it's just not there. So, coach understanding his personnel and going to that four-man front, they're really controlling the line of scrimmage now, which is a huge adjustment from that first quarter.
And now when they're trying to protect the lead, there's a little bit of extra motivation in that step. 2nd and 9 for Warwick. Their own 43. Back to pass Lubkovic. Over the middle. He's got a receiver. A good connection, a beautiful pass and one-on-one coverage. On the coverage for Middletown was Andrew Smith. But Lisiaga with the reception all the way from the Warwick 43 to the Middletown 27-yard line. 30 yards on the pickup. Lubkovic to Lisiaga. 1st and 10 from the Middletown 28-yard line. Abadi with the football. Good gainer on 1st down. Brought down on the play by Tashawn Pelham. But not before he gets down to the Middletown 22-yard line. A pickup of 6. 21st carry of the afternoon for Abate. This time Lubkovic keeps it, shakes off to the left side. He's got enough for a 1st down before he's finally brought down by...
Big touchdown save and tackle there by Andy Aristine there.
Aristine makes the stop, but not before it's a 1st down carry. 9 yards on the pickup for Lubkovic. That's his best carry of the afternoon. 1st and 10 for Warwick from the Middletown 17. Abate stopped on the play by Liam Chester Rosario. No gain on the play. 2nd and 10. Abate so far has not had a double-figure gainer in the second half. He had several in the first half. Lubkovic keeps the football. Bounces to the outside. Nice job that time by number 81 for the Midi Bears, Andre Marag. What's 4 down territory is now 3rd down after the 4-yard pickup by Lubkovic. We'll call it 3rd and 7 and a 3-yard pickup for Lubkovic. Abate with the football. Another nice stop by number 88 for the Midi Bears, Diaga Sar.
Little Njaga Sar there going on. He came in late last season, joined us late to the school year, but he picked up the sport for the first time last year and did a great job this offseason, really working hard. And the first 2 games, he's seen himself with a lot of playing time in varsity football.
Play of the game defensively for Middletown with 4 minutes left in this ball game. They lead it by 8, 4th down and 5 for Warwick. Likely a passing down, and we're going to get a timeout, I believe, by the Wildcats. So just as important, that's Warwick's 2nd timeout. So they only have 1 left here. And if the Midi Bears can stop them on 4th down, that would really put pressure on the Wildcats.
4th and 4 here, you're going to guess they're going to look to Perez. They haven't really gotten a lot of good running games going. You would think that they looked to Perez last time in the red zone. He tripped and fell in the corner there, but he found a way to get himself open. 4th and 4 here, I'm going to look to my best player, which all game long has been Sean Perez.
And it's a tough defensive stance here for the cornerbacks for Middletown because we've thought today that they've done it fairly decent. I mean, listen, Perez is a talent, but they've done, I think, a nice job overall because other receivers haven't hurt them. But the refs have been really more pro receiver than they have
and that's what I was going to say.
secondary.
There's
So
a lot
the
of
penalty
physical play back and forth, but it seems like the receivers are getting away with a lot more the physicality than our corners are. You got Perez at the bottom here, lined up versus Owen Brinson again.
So 4th down for Warwick. Lisiaga in motion. Lubkovic back to pass, rolling towards his right. He's going to keep the football. He's going to have a first and goal, if not more. He gets stopped at the 1 yard line, and you got to give Lubkovic credit. The Middletown secondary did a nice job against those receivers, but it left a wide open hole for Lubkovic to run the football.
Comes up a little hobbled here, too. 4th and 1, you don't want to see your quarterback limping around. They've leaned on him heavily this drive.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's run a lot more here in the second half as Middletown is keyed on Abate, the running back. That's opened him up. First and goal.
Quick quarterback sneak here. Quick count.
And that's a flag. I think they moved.
They definitely moved there.
They never got set.
That's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's a big 5 yards.
That's a hard play to execute properly. You got 11 kids sprinting towards the line. And you got to snap it right away, but you need everybody to be set at the same time. You're asking a lot to go right there.
So listen, you're a coach, but sometimes from up here, I'm like, you didn't need that.
No.
You had first and goal at the 1 yard line. You have a very capable fullback in Abate.
Yeah.
And I just, to do that fancy stuff, for everything to go right when you're 1 yard out from the end zone, I just don't understand it.
And not for nothing, Abate has not been stopped on consecutive plays. So if he doesn't get it the first time.
And there's Abate. Nice job by DeGiorgio that time coming up to make the stop in the backfield, and now it's second and goal. Can the Midi Bears hold on here? Second and goal from the 5 for Warwick. Clock running at 2:45. The Wildcats only have 1 timeout remaining, so this is the drive of the game. Either they're going to put it in there or Middletown's going to be able to run out the clock if they're able to stop the Wildcats. And now they may have to waste their last timeout, and they do.
Yep.
Confusion on the play that was called. It looked like the player was coming back in, and the coaches changed their mind on the call.
You got to have your best guys out there in the red zone, and you've got to be confident what you're running. But all those changes, you're on the opposite hash, how far those kids got to run from the sideline just to get to the huddle. Sometimes you stick with what you got. You know, they got them all the way down there. That personnel they had out was pretty solid.
I mean, they're still on the favorable side of the field, but Coach Sirico can't be happy on their execution here at first and goal from the 1 yard line. And now it's turned it into a second and goal at the 5 and a wasted timeout.
And while it's favorable field position, at some point, too, the Warwick players have to be frustrated with, just the lack of organization that's happened these last couple of plays here. Yeah, the physical mistake with jumping off sides, the mental mistake with not getting the right personnel on. This all plays to the hands of the middies.
Ed Estrada, Jason Lichtenstein, Ed Diller bringing you all the action here from Fowler Field on the campus of Middletown High School. The Midi Bears leading the Wildcats.
Here. And this one.
Rolling to his left, Lubkovic looking towards the end zone. He's got a receiver and then batted away at the last minute. Nice job by that Middletown secondary. That was number 20 for the Midi Bears. Andrew Smith on the coverage. Third and goal for the Middletown 5.
Two big plays coming up here. You got a team that's run the ball great all game.
Going to keep it Lubkovic, trying to get to the outside, but this time Middletown wasn't biting. There is a flag on the play. We'll see what the call is. Number 81 for the Midi Bears coming up to make the stop was Andrew Marag, and it's against Warwick, so that's going to bring up fourth down.
Holding on the offense, number 53. That penalty's declined. It's fourth down.
What an interesting series here. You're on the half-inch line. Now all of a sudden you're back on the 6 yard line. You're struggling to move the ball. Yeah.
4th and goal from the 8-yard line for Warwick. 2:12 remaining and the clock running. Middletown leads it by 8. A likely passing play. Be on the lookout for number 3, but that's number 6, Liziago. Rolling to his left. Lubkovic trying to turn the corner at the 5, and he gets stopped. The Midi Bears hold on 4th down. We do have the officials. I don't think I saw a flag. And if it's Middletown football on a turn of downs, which I believe it is, the Midi Bears will have an opportunity to run out the clock.
With 2 minutes to go, they got to get, one first down here? 1 first down locks the game. They can take their time in the huddle. They can slow down the clock, get some yardage here. Taking over on the 4-yard line, it looks like. That was a great stand by that defense.
The Midi Bears have played great defensively since the middle of the second quarter when they gave up 13 points in the first quarter and a half, and were facing a 13-0 deficit. And we talked about that drive at the end of the first half to give the Midi Bears some momentum.
And that's what these kids need. They just need a little bit of something to believe in themselves, and they got it going today. You know, they were down basically for 5 straight quarters, and then to come back these last 3 quarters and look like a great football team. You know, they put it together. This is going to be good going into next week's game over at Port Jervis. Back to that wishbone.
Little surprised it was a handoff, but that's okay. It's enough for a first down, and that'll do it. Now you can just take a knee with 1:44 remaining.
Yep, I'll kneel it out here. That's the problem. That's why I like the 2 touchdowns.
Players already?
One of them. Yep. And then, I mean, could he have done more than he did? 24 carries.
Oh, that kid's brutal. He absolutely deserves it. Yeah. Or the quarterback, yeah.
Or Sean Press. I made it deal.
1:04 remaining now. Clock running. The Midi Bears will run this out as they'll even up their record at 1-1.
Great to see him in victory formation here, kneeling it out. Get to come together and celebrate hard-fought victory here. There's not a lot of easy victories in AA football, so get this one. It's good. It's great for him. We got the Bell game next week. You know, a huge rivalry game coming up. You know, all the confidence they have taken into this, they get to carry that into next week's game. Great second half adjustments by Coach Strenfeld and his staff. You know, they earned this one.
We're just putting together our players of the game.
You know, as the Middies line it up versus Warwick here, he'll get a chance to celebrate down in the end zone. You know, they've got to be feeling good about themselves. Like I said, they were down the first 5 quarters of this entire season, and to come back and score 21 unanswered points in a 13-0 hole, you know, it just speaks to what these coaches are building with these kids and what they're getting them to believe in themselves. It's not easy. You know, the job of a high school coach is very difficult. You're relying on 16, 18-year-old kids to do the job, and right now these kids are doing the job that was asked of them. You know, the week 0 game, you put it behind you, you call it maybe a scrimmage or an exhibition game, a fancy one with the lights on, and now you see this game, and you see a game back in Section 9, back versus a common opponent, and to see these middies pull it out the way they have, it's absolutely phenomenal. The Middletown kids are celebrating in the end zone, as they should be. It was a hard-fought team victory, and that's the kind of stuff that we're looking for out of these guys. You don't want to say like they lack a superstar, but they lack that star power we've had the past couple years, and to see them get that team victory where multiple guys are touching the ball, multiple guys are scoring. You see them talking each other up on the sideline. That's exactly what Coach Strenfeld's got to get out of these kids.
And this is a Warwick team that last year put up 35 points against Middletown. And we know it's a different team, but it's still got some components of that team. You mentioned that Perez last year. You remember the name against the Midi Bears, and he had another big game for the Wildcats. But they also put up 29 points last week against Wagner. So Warwick historically has a really good offense. And, you know, when you give up 60-plus points like the Middies did last week against Rye, and then you open up the first quarter and a half and you're down 13-0, your season is on the brink of going in a really bad direction.
And really fast to go in a really bad direction.
With 3 road games coming up.
Three tough road games,
Correct.
You got the defending state champions, you got defending Section 9 champions, and then you have Newburgh, who's some favored to win the Section 9 championship last year. You know, you got to get the wins when you can get the wins.
So we're going to look at midfield now, where we'll have our players of the game this afternoon. For Warwick, it's number 3, the junior split end, who had 99 yards for the Wildcats on just 4 catches. And for Middletown, number 7, Andy Aristine. Coach Lichtenstein and I were talking about, you know, who to give it to, but Aristine, obviously the choice here. 2 touchdowns of Middletown's 3. He had 47 yards on the ground and 46 yards in the air, so all-purpose yards for him.
And you look at his last 2 games, he's become their most consistent player. He's not flashy, he's not big play guy, but he's become very consistent. He scored for us last week to end the half, scored for us this week to end the half. You know, when they need those plays made, Andy stepped up and made some great plays for those kids.
So the Middies head on the road for the next 3 weeks at Port Jervis, the infamous Erie Bell game next week, followed by Newburgh and then Monroe-Woodbury. We'll see what the Midi Bears have for us when they come back for homecoming against Pine Bush. For my sidekick, Coach Lichtenstein, and our producer, Ed Diller, I'm Ed Estrada. We hope you enjoyed our action on Midi TV this afternoon. The Midi Bears take it over Warwick 21-13.